once Layla and I started getting a lot of the pay-per-views. Not everybody liked that. Certainly when I started dating Mark, now I'm getting everything because of him. I can't believe it's been 20 years. We were kind of a forgotten era. We did all we could with what we had.
You were fighting for airtime?
Absolutely. Just to get 2 minutes.
Undertaker has entrances longer than that.
Probably a month's worth of our matches.
Your character work got you over.
The whole Piggy James storyline did get us over, and I give all the credit to Mickie for that.
The women's title cut in half?
Yes, Layla's got the lay part, I've got the cool part.
What was the toughest Undertaker match for you to watch?
Brock was hard to watch because I knew he was out of it.
WrestleMania 30?
That's hard, that hurts.
Do you think you'll be recognized in the Hall of Fame?
I get that question all the time. It would be an honor.
Well, thank you for inviting me into your house.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Well, good to be back here. Did the other one with Mark?
Yep.
Still strange for me to call him Mark.
Look, it took me several months. There was a point where he literally looked and goes, "When are you going to stop calling me Take?" And I'm like, I don't know. It sounds weird.
Don't most people call him Taker? Probably not his wife, but...
Yeah, dead man. Yeah, but it took me a while.
What do you call him on a daily basis?
Do you really want to know? Because it depends on the day.
Ooh, okay.
Like if he makes me mad, if he's super sweet. No, just joking. Normally babe, daddy, because of the kids.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, this is already going bad.
But it's good to see you. Good to finally be able to meet you. Ran into Mark at the gym right before we walked in here.
Was he doing anything?
I don't know. Walking around there a little bit.
He does that a lot.
Although when he walked out, I was like, oh, dude, he could still be in the ring.
Yeah.
In great shape.
Yeah, he's in good shape. But he does a lot of walking around sometimes.
But I feel like you could still be in the ring.
I feel like I could too. My mind tells me I can. Sometimes I'm like, I can't believe it's been 20 years, which is crazy to say. But I am 44 now. But I do feel like I could. I mean, at least for a very short amount of time, but I could get in there and do it.
With the workouts that you're doing, like you look like you're in the best shape of your life now.
Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes what you see on Instagram is all I've done that day.
And that's okay.
Right, exactly. Just consistency is key. A little bit of move every day. So thank you though.
Is it every day you're in the gym?
I try to do something, it's get it in when I can get it in. I knew you were coming today. So after my little morning devotional, I went over there at 5:45, which I prefer early morning anyway. But whenever I can do it. 2 nights ago, I hadn't worked out in 3 days. So at my daughter's football practice, I had a band, I had a football field, just getting something done.
So it's getting something in every single day.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, just moving.
But these videos you're posting, and maybe it's just the magic of Instagram, but you're shredded.
Well, thank you. Thank you. That, yeah, working out, running after my kids. Yeah, taking care of my husband who had double knee surgery. Sometimes, that just kickstarts a whole new journey.
It's just another big kid you're taking care of?
That's it.
Is he doing all right?
No, he's doing great. It's just literally that did kind of kickstart. I lost a few pounds unintentionally. Then we just start trying to rehab him and get the best nutrition in him. And so it just kind of changed a lot for me as well. I do work out. I eat relatively clean, but not, I hate when people ask me that because we are meat and white rice 5 times a week. I eat bread every single morning, pizza once a week, so but I do move. It's just consistency, but just I'm not getting any younger. So I had to take care of myself.
But I feel like eating pizza is just like for your sanity. It's like,
oh, it's so good.
It's
my favorite.
You are speaking directly to my heart right now.
We're actually having it tonight.
Oh, man.
I know.
What's the go-to pizza for you?
Well, just like type
toppings.
Double pepperoni. Simple. And because the kids love it so much, I do love it, but Papa John's is where we go.
I think, do you get the shakaroni then?
I have had the shakaroni.
The shakaroni is really good.
I know, it is.
I feel like pepperoni is just like, that is like the measuring stick.
That's good.
The measuring stick for because you can go pepperoni versus pepperoni in any company.
Anything, yep.
Yeah. And it's like, if you can't do a pepperoni pizza right.
There's something wrong.
Get out of here.
Get out of the pizza business.
Yes.
I agree.
But we saw you back in the ring, the Royal Rumble 2023.
Yeah.
That was so fun. You're sitting in the front row, your music hits, and it's like, oh no, she's going to enter the Rumble now.
Yeah, that was fun. That was interesting. I've told the story before. They called me very short notice. I think it was 8-9 days. Asked me if I wanted to do it. And I was like, oh, shoot. I mean, yes, I work out, but I'm sure you've heard it a million times. ring shape is a whole different ball game. Like being in shape to get in the ring is just a different ball game.
And did they tell you you were actually going to be staying in the match for a little while?
No.
Because, you could enter and leave in
sure.
10 seconds. You don't need to be in ring shape.
Sure. No. That's
you were
always
in for like 13 minutes, I think.
I was in for a few minutes. Yeah. I think at one point, I was kind of in a corner with, it was either Piper or Naomi. And I was like, oh, give me a second. Y'all, I'm tired. But yeah, that was super fun. I knew I was going to be there with the kids watching, and my dad was there. And it was something different. I mean, they said I could wrestle in my sweatpants and Uggs. Should have been doing it my entire career. I was like, I am in. And honestly, it was a thing where Mark and I talked. And I was like, our daughter was kind of struggling with, she's a perfectionist. And if she can't do something on the first try, she gets so mad. So it was a kind of a lesson. I said, you know what? I'm just going to let her know this is something that mommy is kind of a little bit terrified to do on such a short notice. I don't know if I'm ready to do it, but you know what? We can be scared, brave at the same time, and go out and do it. So it was kind of a lesson I was trying to build in for her. Don't really know that she got that. She's just loves WWE, period. Not even sure she was cheering for me, but that was part of the the reasoning as well.
And you're rocking the Uggs right now.
Yes, always. People think it's just, no, it's literally always.
Are these Uggs, there's like
these are Uggs.
Heel built in
they
there?
got fancy Uggs.
These are fancy.
I know, I've got work Uggs. I've got,
Yeah.
I've got the whole gamut.
Do you think your daughter aspires to do what mom and dad did?
That's all she wants to do. That is all she has been obsessed as long as I can remember. I mean, she was probably 3 or 4 watching something. And even Mark turned to me. He's like, oh no, she gets it. She asked this question like, why would they do that? Or this doesn't make sense. Or, wow, that looked really good. And we're like, oh gosh, she gets it. She loves it. Yeah. She wants to do it.
And look at the genes that she has, right? Like between you and the Undertaker, she's going to be like 6 foot something, I'm sure.
She's almost got me. She just turned 12. She's 5'5", same size shoe as me. Heck of an athlete. But we've also let her know, like, if you do this because of who your daddy is, you're going to have the biggest target on your back. Mm. You have to outwork everybody. You have to prove yourself 10 times over. And I just got a little dose of that, just being with him. And then obviously eventually marrying him. But she wants to do it, but we're also, we shoot straight with her.
What do you do when you're raising kids and this is what you guys did for a living? And everywhere you go, everybody's recognizing mom and dad.
Yeah. It's from a young age, we have had to explain to her, my biggest thing was know what's inappropriate and know what's annoying. If it's just annoying, you have to learn to deal with it because annoying happens every day, will happen your entire life, right?
So like what's an example of that?
So annoying, a boy in her class. Hey, can the Undertaker still roll his eyes? Or whatever, just like...
Can he?
He can. But he says bad things happen every time he does it. So then you don't see it too often. So just know what's annoying, people asking questions about her daddy maybe, and then what's inappropriate. Has somebody crossed the boundary? Has an adult come up to you asking about us? And all these things happen, right?
Sure, yeah.
So that's hard. It's hard just trying to be mom or dad at a sporting event when so many people, come to find him, and just the safety of it.
Yeah.
But it is their normal, even though it's abnormal. So we try to definitely... We shoot from the hip. We're blunt. I'll tell her, this playroom right here, not yours. That bed you sleep on, not yours. This house, not yours either. And it's not normal. So I like to think they're pretty grounded and try to keep them humble. But there's only so much you can do.
What are airports like for you guys?
Awful. Oh my gosh, they're awful. I joke that I married him so I could wear whatever heels I wanted to and occasional security jumps at the airport. People recognizing we were traveling on the road all the time. Like,
yeah.
Sweet. But man, it's crazy. People just don't have boundaries. And it's like you appreciate and love the fans. You hear it from even the superstars today. But when you're getting chased or followed and your kids are around, especially, it's just like, dude, come on.
Yeah. What was the relationship that you had with wrestling when you were growing up?
So I grew up watching it with my dad and his dad, who I called my pap, my grandfather. Whole family watched it, loved it. And it was kind of the night that I could stay up just a little bit later and watch wrestling with them. So it was a cool little bonding thing that you obviously realize later in life, how special that time was. So I grew up watching it, was a fan.
Who were your people?
Dusty Rhodes. I loved Arn Anderson. I love the Bushwhackers. I know that's not the normal answer, but I loved it. They were fun. Of course, Ric Flair, always fun to watch. Loved watching Ricky Steamboat. Did not ever want to meet Mark or Kane. Yeah, those are my guys.
And then when did you realize, I mean, you're athletic your entire life. When did you realize this might actually be a path for you?
Not until, honest to goodness, I got the call for the Diva Search, because I come from such a small town in Florida. And it's kind of one of those deals, nobody ever leaves. There have been some great athletes that have come out of that town. But everybody just kind of comes back, and you just always think that's just what you do. And so I never really thought, hey, this is what I'm going to do. But in 2004, when they had the Diva Search, I was watching it, and a friend said, there's your chance, but you won't do it. And I was like, oh, I hate being told that I won't or I can't. I also hate failing. So I'm not going to tell you I'm trying, but I did. I filled out the papers. I went to this local park, had a friend take pictures, didn't tell him what for, sent them in, and I got a call. I was too nervous to answer it at the time. I was actually with my parents. So I just sent it to voicemail, got the voicemail that they were asking me to come. And I was like, this can't be true. So called them back and went to New York, this huge cattle call, and everybody had these portfolios that their agents had sent. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what fake eyelashes are. I have these pictures I took in the park. Like, where am I right now?
So this is almost more like a modeling call.
It seemed like it.
And I guess that was the era of
1,000%
at that time. Yeah.
1,000%. So I was super nervous. They chose 2 of us from New York is all. And then they did Chicago and LA, I believe. And that was that.
Did they tell you what they saw in you?
They just saw me as an all-American girl who, we had a panel, and it was Randy Orton, I think Hunter, and somebody else who I got super nervous to talk in front of because they were on my screen just this week,
Yeah.
But I knew the storylines when they questioned me. And I think they could tell that I had a true passion for the business. I wasn't just there as a stepping stone to, whatever. Did
you think at that point that this would be a career path for you?
I still was like super, not that it wouldn't or couldn't, because I trusted in my abilities, but it just seemed too far-fetched. It just seemed like, oh, here it is. This is fun. But especially after I got cut, I didn't think I was going to get called back to go train at Deep South. So while it was within reach, I don't know that I ever thought, man, can this really happen to me? Little me from Palatka, Florida, this teeny tiny town nobody's heard of. But here we are.
We'll get right back to the conversation in just a second. Look, I know we're already a few weeks into the new year, and most people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions, but this can finally be the year where you look and feel your best and have more energy than ever before. Whatever your health goals are for 2025, this supplement can help because it supports your health at the foundation by encouraging cellular renewal. MitoPure is a precise dose of the rare postbiotic urolithin A. It works by promoting an essential cellular cleanup process that clears out dysfunctional mitochondria, which is better known as your cell's battery packs. MitoPure is the only urolithin A supplement on the market clinically proven to target the effects of age-related cellular decline. And with regular use, you'll see and feel the difference in the form of improved energy levels, better workouts, faster recovery, more endurance, and lots more. MitoPure is the research-backed innovation that unlocks your fullest potential. And Timeline is offering 10% off MitoPure when you go to timeline.com/insight. That's timeline.com/insight.
And look at the path that you went on, right? So like you get cut from the Diva Search, and then where's your mindset at there?
Shoot, I'm like, dang it, there was no shot. Like, how else can I get into this business? Seems like, that it's forbidden to get into, or I didn't know how to get into the business.
Yeah.
So when I got cut, I thought, shoot, well, that was fun. And then I think it was the very following week I saw what they made the girls do, or I think they insulted each other, some of the things that were saying. I was like, they did me a favor, because that wouldn't come out of my mouth. But I got a call and they said, are you interested in coming to train? And at the time I was teaching school. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, if I'm going to give it a shot, this is it. So moved to McDonough, Georgia, trained under Bill DeMott. And was one of only 2 girls there, and it was a rough.
Who was the other girl?
Angelina Love.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
That's
we were
funny.
the only 2 there for quite some time.
I was at wrestling school with her at the same time in Toronto.
Were you really?
Yeah, way like 2002.
Yeah, it was just the 2 of us for a long time. Not even a girls' locker room, girls' bathroom.
So what did you think growing up that you'd be doing for a living?
I want to do physical therapy, something in the sports nutrition, fitness world, for sure.
And then teaching?
No, I didn't want to teach. My parents were both in education. My dad was my principal my entire elementary school career. My mom was my PE teacher. I didn't want to do it. Came home one summer though, and they needed a sub for something. Subbed. I do love kids, and I loved it. So just kind of rolled with that.
When you were training in Deep South, when was the moment when it started to click? When were you like, I think I'm getting this. This could be a thing.
You know, honestly, the physicality was never a real issue for me. Did it hurt like I've never hurt in my entire life before? Yes. In fact, we were at the PC not long ago, and I think I started, like my neck and back started hurting just watching the guys and girls bump and hit the ropes. But that part I picked up pretty quick. I wasn't too worried about the physicality. It was being able to come out of my shell in front of God knows how many people. And that was the hardest part. But the physicality was not too difficult.
How did you start to develop your character?
Well, it took a while. I think, you know, if you watch the first several years of my career, I wasn't super comfortable speaking on the microphone or doing promos. But once I realized you've got nothing, I mean, you have everything to lose, yes. But the more comfortable you can go out there and just act as if nobody's there, it becomes a lot easier, right? And when Layla and I got paired together, game over, we just had fun.
Well, you're so sweet. You're so sweet. And you play such a mean, you were a mean girl.
Yes. And they didn't think it was, I want it to be for quite some time. And I remember Arn Anderson going, come on, Michelle, they're never going to buy it. Nope, you're just too sweet. Nope, not going to buy it. Then when they finally turned me, he came up to me that very night and goes, I apologize. After, you know, I had to get used to like the little kids, like giving me fingers they shouldn't be throwing up in the air and saying words they probably shouldn't be saying. It was a lot more fun.
Everyone talks about how much more fun they have being a heel.
So much more fun.
Is it just because you're tapping into a side of yourself that like you'd never tap into in real life?
For me, yes. Yeah. And it's absolutely easier to get people to hate you than it is to love you in that world, especially during the time we were there, because people really didn't care. It was kind of like a cool thing not to care about the girls. So that was hard. So when you could get them to care, it was a lot more fun doing it as a heel.
Did you feel like you were just fighting for airtime all the time?
Oh, I don't even know. There's not a strong enough word, but fighting, absolutely. Yeah. 1000%. Just to get 2 minutes, 3 minutes. When we got 6 minutes, it was like, y'all are joking. Like, no way.
Are we talking 3 minutes, including entrances?
Including entrances.
Curtain to curtain.
Curtain to curtain. So many times we're like, I don't need music. You know, I don't need music either. Like, we can, please give us that ring time. And I remember getting, I want to say the longest match I had, what may have been my last match. We may have gotten 16 curtain to curtain with Awesome Kong coming out at the end. Maybe. Could have been 12. Because I'm going to say, I know for sure like 12 was, when we heard 12, I was like, they're messing with us. Just be prepared.
The
like,
Undertaker
that's how we would prepare.
Undertaker has entrances longer than that.
Oh, way longer. Like probably a month's worth of our matches is still way longer. Yeah, for sure. Deservedly so. But yeah, no, it was, I mean, just to get on TV. And you go out there, and my mindset was always, no matter if it's 2 minutes, 3 minutes, minute and a half, like give them something, try to do one little thing where they go, why'd they do that? Or even if it wasn't from creative's end, it was just like, maybe Layla and I have a little tension. And they're going to wonder, you know, maybe that can go somewhere next week. Like we had to just constantly for ourselves figure out how to either get interest from the back or interest from the fans to where they would, you know, want to give us more time or more storylines. And we pitched storylines right and left.
How do you tell a story when you have 2 minutes in the ring to do so?
It's not easy. It is not easy. In fact, there was one where Layla and I tagged with, my memory's horrible. Was it Dolph against John Morrison, Trish? It was a mixed tag match, but I remember before we went out, I think Trish had already made her entrance, and they said, as soon as y'all get there, y'all need to go home, which clearly means go home, come back, come back and see us. Starts? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, I'm not the veteran at this point. Trish is out there in the ring. I mean, I've been there long enough, but I literally don't know how to go home if I can't get in the ring. So it's one of those kind of ask for forgiveness. I mean, we probably went 4 minutes, but I was like, that's just not possible. So it wasn't easy.
When did that start to change?
Especially not easy for it to make sense, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, how can you tell a story with 3 moves?
You really can. And that was the hard part during my era. I mean, you hear about the Divas Era, or you hear about the Attitude Era, you hear about the Divas Era, which we were kind of like a forgotten era. We were kind of like the in-between, which, for a while I was frustrated with that. But then I was like, there's nothing, we did all we could, with what we had. And I'm grateful for that. But it was hard to tell a story. And, they started giving Layla and I more and more time, which was nice, more and more freedom, which was nice. Also led to a lot of other people not liking that because that's the wrestling business, which made that difficult as well because you have to have somebody to work. But it was hard. It was a struggle.
When did you start to feel it shifting? And maybe it was after you retired.
I think it was after I retired. Yeah. There were a few moments where I remember Fit coming up to us and telling us we had the first ever tables match. And I was like, you never know if somebody's messing with you, right? Like today, not so much, but back then for sure. And Fit, I'm sure you've heard a million times from every girl, Fit Finley is just a savior. Like he's the best, absolute best. And he'd fight for us and he would go to bat for us and he would just help us any way he possibly could. But he's a ribber. So when he told us we had a tables match, I'm like, all right, Lay, I don't know if he's being serious, but let's prepare for it. Obviously, we did end up having a tables match. So we got some cool moments during the time I was there, but at the same time, I don't think it really shifted until after we were gone. I'd like to think maybe we helped that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it truly shifted until a few years later.
Were you proud of that tables match?
Yeah, 1,000% I was proud of that tables match. It was not only the first, it was fun. Earlier in the day, they said, we were walking up the ramp and I remember somebody saying, surely, the table's fine. Like it's going to break. There's 2 of them, right? There's Layla and Michelle. And they're like, yeah, no problem. That sucker did not break.
The table wouldn't put you over.
Nope. Table would not put us over. They didn't like us either. So we hit and I'm like, oh gosh. And I look back up. I'm like, Natty, climb back up. And it couldn't have turned off better with her going back up for the second time. But yeah, that was a big moment.
It looked like it hurt.
It did hurt. It did not tickle. It hurt. It hurt hard. Yeah, we hit hard. But, it's worth it.
What do you remember from the Extreme Home Makeover? What was it? Extreme Makeover match.
Yeah.
Extreme Makeover match.
I remember hearing that thinking, okay, y'all have reached an all-time high of what on earth are we doing? Like, Extreme Makeover, that's what you're making the girls do? Seriously? But then I remember ironing boards. I remember buckets of water, which that's what hurt the worst. Bucket. Have you ever been hit by a bucket?
I mean, a bucket, but maybe not with water in it. Yeah, no one's throwing a bucket at me.
It hurts. That hurts. It was weird because of all the items we were using, but I don't really remember how well it turned out or how well it didn't.
Well, you guys made the best.
We tried to have fun with it.
Yeah.
I tried to roll out the ring and get Michael Cole with some water just to have fun and at Fit Finley's request. But you had to make, you had to deal with what you had and make the best out of it. So
I almost feel like you have to apologize for the type of wrestling you did during that era because you were working within such strict parameters.
So confined. I mean, there was one point where Lisa, Victoria, and I had a match. We came backstage, getting changed, and they came back and said, hey, y'all need to come back out and do your match again. We're like, what do you mean come back out and do our match again? They're like, your punches and kicks look, no, that was Melina. No, that was Lisa. Your punches and kicks look better than the guys. We're like, wait a minute. We have to go redo our match because our punches look too good? That doesn't sound like an us problem. And Chris Jericho at the time, he stood up for us. And he said, if the guys' punches don't look as well, that is not the girls' fault. Like, that's not their fault. Regardless, we had to go out there, redo our match. And there was a period of about 3 or 4 weeks that girls couldn't punch or kick.
Think of how wild this is.
Wild.
Go out and have a worse
wrestling
match. Go have a worse match than the one you already had.
Yeah, dumb it down a little.
That's crazy.
It was crazy. And then Melina and I, we had some really good matches.
There was so much talent during that time too.
There really was. And it's sad that you didn't get to, I mean, a lot of the girls still wrestle now or every once in a while and you get to see that, but there was a lot of talent. There really was. And it's sad that, not everybody got to see that for sure.
Sometimes I'm amazed by how much my kids have grown over the last year. I'm a father of 2 now, it's crazy. And life can be so unpredictable, but planning for your family's financial future doesn't have to be. And that's where Fabric by Gerber Life comes in. Fabric offers modern, flexible term life insurance designed to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're planning for the future or you just want a little extra peace of mind, Fabric makes protecting what matters most simple and stress-free. Fabric has flexible, high-quality policies that fit your family and fit your budget. We're talking $1 million in coverage for less than $1 a day. Fabric by Gerber Life is term life insurance you can get done right from your couch, all online and all in your schedule. You can be covered in under 10 minutes with no health exam required. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Apply in just minutes by going to meetfabric.com/CVV. That's meetfabric, MEET fabric.com/CVV. Policies issued by Western Southern Life Assurance Company. Not available in certain states. Prices subject to underwriting and health questions.
But I also feel like with the work you did, especially as a heel, you're just so known for like the character work. And while your work in the ring was great, your character work's really what got you over.
Well, thank you. And I give credit to this day. And I said this to somebody the other day, and I've said it to her. But the whole Piggy James storyline, like me at heart, hated it just because of what it was, right? Like you're bullying somebody supposedly that they're supposedly overweight. And that has never been me. That is not. Every week I'd go up to her like, Mickey, I'm so sorry. This is what they want us to say. Complete professional. Not once did she try to change things, which often girls did. Not once did she's like, no, it's good. It's cool. She knew that it took 2 to tango. She knew what her role was. She knew what our role was. And she really, I think, put us on the map with that storyline.
Could you imagine them trying to do that storyline now?
Oh, gosh, no. Could you imagine?
I mean, even watching it back now, it's like, I can't believe they did this.
That's how I was every week. Like, I can't believe y'all want us to do this.
Do you remember the original pitch for it?
I don't remember the original pitch. A lot of times back then, things started with personal like digs at somebody or maybe somebody got in trouble and they wanted to make fun. I don't know what it was, but it just came out of the blue. Mm-hmm. And Layla and I were stupid. We acted just dumb together. Like we said stupid things. We had a lot of fun. But when that came about, I was like, oh man, this is just mean. This is mean.
Yeah.
But it did get us over, and I give all the credit in the world to Mickie for that.
And for Mickie to roll with it too.
Well, that's the thing. That's why I give her all the credit.
Yeah.
Like she easily could have been like, guys, this is too much, too far, not doing it.
Yeah.
She was already over, but she didn't.
Yeah.
She knew how the business worked, and it got her more over, and she helped us.
When I was in the gym, I was looking at all the championships you guys have up there. And the women's title cut in half. I love that you have that.
Yes, Layla's got the other half. Yeah, she's got the lay part. I've got the cool part. That was funny.
It was such a fun idea too.
That was, I want to say that was Batista's idea. We were backstage, and he's like, "Well, what if y'all cut it in half?" We're like, oh, like the best friend necklaces. Our minds went there, and we're like, "That'll be great." And I don't think anybody else thought it was a great idea at first. I'm like, come on, guys. That was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
But think about it, that's something that people still remember however many years later.
Yeah. Yep, they do.
What did it mean for you to be the first ever women's and Divas champion?
It's cool now. I don't think I appreciated the moments as much while I was in them. Just a personal thing that I try to teach my kids now. Enjoy the moment. Mm-hmm. Enjoy this very moment. And looking back, I'm like, sometimes we get forgotten, but they can't take that away from me. So that's I feel very grateful for that. But like I said, I wish I could have enjoyed a lot of my career, most of my career in the moment.
Is it because of just how fast paced it is?
How fast paced it is, how much we had to fight for our, spots. And like I said, once Layla and I started popping up on every show and getting a lot of the pay-per-views, not everybody liked that. And then certainly when I started dating Mark, that added a whole other level of a lot.
Is it because it went from you were a performer in the ring to now you're the Undertaker's girlfriend?
Yeah, now I'm getting everything because of him.
Mm.
Yep. 1,000%.
What was the first time you met Mark?
I mean, early on in the Diva Search days, because everybody was backstage. The first person I met when I was sitting in makeup that day was Ric Flair. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? What is happening? And of course, he's wooing, and everything you would epitomize Ric Flair to be is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And so I was already in La La Land, but in the early days.
So you meet Mark in the early days. Do you go,
no,
that is my future husband?
Heck no.
That is the father of my children.
Is that what he told you? That's probably that's his story. One day people are going to believe the truth. No, absolutely not. In fact, I was like, I don't like when people started chirping a little bit like, Taker doesn't help the girls. Like, he's helping Michelle. I think he's like I don't like tattooed long hair and guys.
What were your first impressions of him?
I didn't want to meet him because he was scary from TV. Like, I legit did not want to meet him and Kane. And met him, out of respect. It's very respectful business. You got to shake hands. And so I did that. And then when I met Kane, he was in catering and I walked in. I just remember he was laughing. His big old shoulders were going like this. The nicest guy in the world, right? No, he bothered me for so long to the point I was like, if you will leave me alone, I'll go out to eat with you. And I think he finally admitted to that when he was speaking at a church recently, but that's probably just because it was in church. But he's been lying to the world for years about how I chased him. That's not true.
How did you know he had a crush on you?
Well, I was always early to the building. I like to be first to get there, last to leave. Learn all I can in the ring with everybody that's there. And then he started helping me. And like I said, he didn't help the girls really, just not like as a dig or anything. But I mean, he just never crossed that line. But he's really helping me. And then I got super sick overseas on a European tour. Like, literally almost died. And I guess he really took care of me. I don't remember the last 3 days of that tour, so I can't honestly tell you what went down. But I remember we were in Ireland and it was like this janky ceiling. They had a hanger coat with IVs in me. And he had come in. I guess he put his coat over me. I guess I was shivering, kicking everybody out of the training room. Bless their heart. They probably need ankles taped and everything else. But Mark was like, nope, nobody comes in. And then he went to the ring that night without his coat on because he kept it on me. And so I think people started chattering then. But again, I'm literally out of it. I don't remember how I got home from that tour, which was his doing as well. Had somebody meet me on the tarmac in Atlanta because I wouldn't have been able to get on the plane.
Wow.
So long story short, kind of after that, while I was in the hospital, he had called. But in all fairness, so had a lot of the guys and girls called to check on me. So I didn't really think anything of that as well. But then when I came back, he's like, can I please just pick you up from the airport? I'm like, gosh, I want to say no, but it is Undertaker. Like, how do you say no without like worrying about the disrespect thing, which is a fine balance. And so he picked me up from the airport. And at the time, myself, Kelly, and Candace were on a cover of the magazine, which was a big deal too. And I walk out and he's holding the magazine up in front of his face, like leaning on the car. I'm like, you're so stupid. But then, so kind of from that point after I'd gotten sick and then heard everything that he had done, which was totally abnormal for him to do, I was like, I guess these people are right, but I'm still really not into the long hair and tattoos.
He saved your life.
He does. He likes to say that too. Thanks for the reminder. I saved your life. One night he was choking here at dinner and I literally saved his life. So I can say that too.
There you go.
I mean, we're even. Quit using the line. We're even.
What was your first date?
Oh, we went somewhere like Applebee's.
Really?
Really? No, really. Like, or a TGI Friday, something like that. Yeah. I think he thought I was joking. I'm like, no, there's my type of restaurant. So something like that. I just went to dinner.
And then were you like, man, he is a charming man?
First date? No, he's super sweet. He is charming. He's obviously he's great, but it took me a little while
I think
to warm up.
one of the things people don't, I think, appreciate about Mark, and all we're doing is just making him sound like he's the greatest.
I know, and he told me to put him over before he came in here, so I'm getting a little mad that I am, but
he has piercingly beautiful eyes.
green eyes, pretty eyes.
Right?
Maybe I'll start calling him pretty eyes. Pretty eye.
You would never think so. But like when you are standing there having a conversation and looking into the man's eyes, you're like, wow.
Because they were always covered in eyeliner.
That's true.
Or rolled back.
Or
You
rolled
never
back.
saw them.
Yeah.
That was my first gift to him, eyeliner. It's like, what are you getting? Like, I'm just going to use a black eyeliner. You'll use it, right?
What?
Yes. It's like, I don't know what to get him as a gift. Here you go. Lots of eyeliner.
Was it like one of your previous eyeliners? You went out.
I bought the like $5 eyeliner for him. What else you going to get him?
What's his reaction to this?
He used it. It was a great gift.
Can you roll your eyes back?
I don't think so. Can I?
No.
No.
Close.
No.
I feel like what
It
I
hurts
do.
too. Like it's a weird. You kind of do.
No, it flutters.
Yeah. No.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't either.
You're close. You just look like you're looking at the ceiling.
I am. How do you do it? Look at the back of your
that's
brain.
pretty good.
Was it?
That was.
Try looking in the back of your head.
Ah,
Is that the trick? Do it.
that's pretty good.
No, that's worse actually than your last one.
How does Mark do it?
I don't know.
That was really good.
He did it
though.
on accident the very first time.
He told me that.
Yeah.
You guys should take a photo where you're both doing it.
And see what we look like.
Yeah.
We could do that.
That'd be pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
So how does it go from a few dates and also all this backstage chatter of like, oh, what's Michelle and Mark doing? How does that go from, I like this guy, this could be something, and it could be something serious enough that I'm willing to pursue it?
I don't know if there was a definitive point. I joke, but he did wear me down to where I was like, oh, just leave me alone. Just if I go on another date, will you leave me alone? But it was kind of our banter back and forth as well. So I don't remember a definitive time, but I remember thinking, okay, there was a point where after dating for a while, I had to tell my family, and it all started with, okay, before I tell y'all, like, he's not what you would think he is or what we've seen on TV. So that was how I always prefaced it. But, he's a charming guy. Like it didn't take much. We clicked. We got along well from the beginning, and it just gradually built. And that came with a lot of trouble or not so much trouble, but a lot of hate backstage that led me to, the last 2 years I was there, I contemplated like, gosh, I don't want to hate a business that I love so, so much, but thought about leaving for, 2 years prior to when I actually did. And a lot of that had to do with just the, from writers to some talent to, and was it fair? No. Were there a lot of people dating? Yeah. But because it was Mark, I got everything from that point not because of the storylines we pitched every single week, not just for myself. I have to have an opponent for myself and other people. I know I can look at myself in the mirror and know my work ethic was there, know how hard I worked day in, day out. When he started riding on the bus, I would wait until the arena cleared, but I didn't want anybody to see me even get on this bus. Like it was, but it is what it is.
Is that what led to you wanting to retire?
A lot. Yeah, a lot. I mean, the schedule's grueling. It was a constant fight, like we spoke about earlier, week in, week out. And it was a lot. It was a lot being with him that I had to take and endure.
So then what were the last, call it 6 months of you deciding like, okay, I am going to retire?
Yeah. I don't think I told anybody other than Mark and Layla. She knew it was coming. I wanted to enjoy it. It was hard because we were still fighting for, that last match or that last, build up to the last match. And it just, I don't know if I ever got true closure because it's like I didn't really want to leave, but I didn't want to, like I said, hate something that I loved my entire life and still love to this day. So it was a tough decision. But I had to just try to find the good, always try to find the good. I have some very dear friends to this day that I take from the business.
It's got to be difficult because it's not that you couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
You were early 30s.
Yeah. And I did know that I did want to have kids. So that was a huge, obviously a huge part of that decision as well. So I don't want to negate that. That was huge. But yeah, it was hard.
But that's a big decision as well, not just the retirement, but if you take it one step before that, like deciding, yes, I am going to not just date a wrestler, I'm going to date the wrestler. I'm going to date a top guy.
I'm going to do it.
But it's a big decision to make because it comes with all these repercussions afterwards. And you would have to, assume that that's going to happen. Maybe it was worse than you thought.
Wait, yeah. Well, I just know that I wasn't the only one dating guys around there.
Yeah.
And I definitely didn't see that from anybody else, but.
So did it feel personal then?
Not so much personal to me, but because he is the top. He is the top. He is the benchmark for everybody. And so I think people looked at that differently. Like, he has whatever pool he wants, is what you think. And you can ask him. And I actually am so stubborn. I'm like, I don't ever need any type of help to fight any battle, to fight a storyline, to pitch a storyline. I can look in the mirror and just say, that's never happened. Now, there was one time a little incident happened with a guy, and I had to beg him not to say something. Even though this guy was calling Mark and wanting to talk to him and apologize and everything else, which he didn't answer. He made him sweat it out for several weeks, and all's good now. All's good. Totally fine now. But I mean, just the point being, that's my nature. That's my character. That's how I've always been my entire life. Like, to a fault, I don't need help from anybody. I can figure this out. I can chug on through and get something done. But, there were writers that literally threw up their papers. If she wasn't the Undertaker's girlfriend, she, wouldn't be on the show. Or a couple times, I will turn my cheek a million times, but I'll also stand up for myself. And there were a few times I can remember, like a handful, where I'd already talked to somebody earlier in the day and they had treated me one way. And then, of course, they see me and Mark together. And I have to say, guess what? I didn't change from 10 minutes ago. So treat me the same way you treated me when he wasn't standing here. It's like, so.
Quick time out from this episode. Being an adult has its high points. Like, you can eat ice cream for any meal that you want. You get to pick your own bedtime, but it's not all fun. Sometimes there's like some real adult stuff, like doing your taxes or making doctor's appointments. At least for that one, though, we've got ZocDoc, the healthcare app that makes adulting that much easier. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click instantly to book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and so much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours of booking. Some can even happen the same day. This is something that I use, and I know that you'll love it as well. I just booked a dermatologist appointment using ZocDoc and got in on the same day. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/insight to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/insight.
What's one thing about Mark that we might not know?
Oh, that would be mean if I told you. But he has green eyes. Pretty green eyes. See?
They are. We know
Good
that.
save.
We know that.
I don't know.
Who's the Undertaker when nobody's looking?
Depends on the day. No, but I mean, he's loving. He's caring. He runs my bath every night. He, little things like that. I don't think people would go, oh, I bet the Undertaker runs Michelle's bath every single night.
I think they think he rides around on a motorcycle.
I think so, with a bandana on his head, and
Limp Bizkit playing in the background.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, Kid Rock.
But no, just very low key, very down to earth, which I think at this point in his career, since he's been doing these one dead man shows and actually speaking in public, not in his character all the time, that a lot of people do know the type of person he is at heart. But there's
When you're so competitive for your whole career and you're so driven and it comes to a screeching halt when you retire, what do you do to keep the competitive juices flowing?
Yeah, that's hard. I'm just competitive at everything, like to a fault. It's not great. It's not that good of a trait. Like, I mean, there's a good competitiveness, then there's, me and my daughter walking down the hall. I'm gonna get to the door first in my head. And she's gotten that as well. But it was hard because it's like, where do you go from here? But again, I did want to have kids. So now that's my focus. So thankfully I did have something to focus on. My faith has always been strong. So my identity was not in wrestling. Obviously I loved it and was super grateful that I got to do it. But who I am is not half of LayCool, or who I am was not Michelle McCool before LayCool. Who I am is Michelle McCool, who grew up in a small town, was raised a certain way, and who has faith. So my identity was never that, which made it an easier transition. But it did get difficult through the years, even after having my first child, watching and going, oh my gosh, like I'd have given anything to have this amount of time on TV, or to have the PC training center or whatever it is. And not even from a jealousy standpoint, just like, oh, they are so lucky. Like they are so lucky. So
with that said, do you feel like you and everybody else during your era weren't allowed to like really showcase your full potential?
Yeah, 1000%.
I think if you were 15 years later, right? If the Diva Search was even 12 years later, 10 years later.
And that's why I've loved doing the Royal Rumbles, getting in there with some of the girls and mixing it up. It's like, dang, we could have gone.
Well, and everybody can see that.
Like we could have gone. Yeah.
Like there's no generational gap there, right? Like
none.
It's not like you guys from that era are wrestling any different. It's like, no.
There's some of us that could have, some of us that could have had some real good matches. And so that's always fun to get in there and be in there with them.
Do you think you'll be recognized in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know. I get that question all the time. It would be an honor. I don't know. Not my call. Don't even know whose call it is. But I have no idea.
I would think maybe Layla inducts you.
Oh, inducts. Well, I don't know. I would hope LayCool would go in. And, everybody always asks. That would be an honor to go in as Michelle McCool, obviously. But think about LayCool is what put Michelle McCool really on the map.
And Layla
and
too.
I would never take that for granted. But she just disassociated from wrestling for quite some time, and I respected that. Would I give anything to have a LayCool reunion at a Rumble? Yeah.
There's a Rumble right around the corner here.
Well, y'all got to call Layla. Help me out.
You guys still keep in touch?
Yeah, every once in a while. Yeah. It's one of those deals. We don't have to talk every day, not even every month, but nothing changes.
I think when you look at what you accomplished and like you look at the history that you made, a pretty easy case to be made there for you going to the Hall of Fame.
Well, I appreciate it. I do. My daughter asks me all the time. I'm like, would you hush? I don't know. Don't rub it in. I don't know.
What do you think was the toughest Undertaker match for you to watch?
Oh gosh, I wouldn't even know where to start. Seriously, there have been so many. Whatever WrestleMania number it was where he dove out onto the cameraman.
With Shawn Michaels?
Was it with Shawn? Well, one of the cameramen was supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, that was an awful.
25?
The first one, maybe? Was it? Anyway, he did the dive out and somebody was not there quite enough to catch him. And that was a bad one. I can't even watch that one when they play it back on documentaries and stuff. I'm like, I can't watch it. Brock was hard to watch because I knew he was out of it. WrestleMania, New Orleans. That was a rough night.
Did you know the streak was going to end?
I did. I was one of, I think he told me, I think that's it. Early in the afternoon when they made that decision, he told me I was hot. Like, why? That does not make sense. Like, and of course, he's like, his business, that's his call. And I knew that it had been pitched that Edge break the streak years prior.
Yeah.
But Adam said, there's no rhyme or reason that I need to break the streak, that the streak needs to be broken, that I want to have any part of that. And he didn't. And I was like, mad respect. But yeah, not a good night.
Well, he ended the night in the hospital.
Yeah, he didn't know his name until like 4 a.m.
Man. When you watch, he told me that story recently. When you watch the Mr. McMahon docuseries and he's like, oh, that's not a real story. What do you think of that?
That's a touchy.
Yeah.
That's touchy. That's rough. look, Mark has been in the ring with broken everythings. He's been in there with fractured eye sockets, finishing matches. He's been in there concussed before, finishing matches. It's not like he's ever going to not tell the truth about how he feels or what's happened or anything. And, you know, we were all right there in the hospital in the waiting room. And, you know, the first guy that read his x-rays came out and told me that he has broken his neck. And I was like, oh man. Because at this point, he'd been having a surgery a year, basically, and rehabbing and coming back from mania, surgery, mania. So they tell me his neck's broken. I'm like, oh man. Then they tell me his back's broken. I'm like, holy crap, like it's way worse than I ever even thought. Second guy that read it came out. He's like, his neck's not broken and his back's been broken for years. Okay, well, not sure that makes me feel much better, but good, I guess. And then the whole night in the hospital, like I said, till 4 a.m. Where are you at? I don't know. Babe. He'd go, babe, what's my name? Oh. Like, I am not cheating for you on this. Like, no way. Like, babe, where are we at? And I'm like, no, I can't help you. So that was a rough, to see it, if anybody says or takes it for anything less than what it was, is, you know, that's hard. That hurts.
What about WrestleMania 40? What, like that feels like it was just like just such a special moment. And for the Undertaker to be a small part of that, for you to, you know, be there to be able to watch it, what was that like? That
was fun. That was special. Yeah, to you know, I'm not playing any part in it, but just to be able to witness anytime he's doing anything, and just how much love and adoration there still is. As soon as you hear the gong, you know, place goes crazy. It's special. There's just nothing can replace that.
There is so much love when people hear your entrance theme.
Now, yeah.
Oh, people love it.
Well, thank you. It wasn't always the case, so it's nice to hear. And that was always one of the things you go back, like, is anybody going to cheer or remember me? For the first few years when I got the music, it was, again, a difference in the days, right? It was Tori Wilson's recycled music, which she's like a sister to me, love her to death. And she was so over, right? So when their music hit, get cheers at first with my music. And then they're like, oh, this isn't Tori. I'm like, dang it. So yes, it's nice now.
I think the first two lines are just, it speaks totally to like, you're not enough for me. Just another, what's those?
Just another. Oh gosh.
You're not enough for me. Just another man.
I'm gonna have to look that up. Just another man in love with me.
I think that's it.
I think that's what it is.
How do we, you've heard it 1,000 times.
There's so many screams and cheers, Chris.
That's
just
right.
Joking.
Just another man in love with
my
me.
head.
That's right.
Yeah, just another man. Yeah.
It's like, damn, what a heel.
Dang. Oof. She's full of herself, right?
That's the point.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I liked it.
When you heard it for the first time, were you like, fits?
I'm like, okay. Wasn't quite, I was thinking it's not quite as upbeat, you know, you kind of want to come out with a little more swagger, but it worked. We made it work.
Well, it tells the whole story of
it does. It does.
Come on. There was a whole breakdown on TikTok. Have you seen this?
Of what?
Of your entrance theme, of someone being like, listen to this. Like, this is just a bad bitch right here.
Oh, no. I'm going to have to look that one up.
I'll show it to you after.
That's funny.
Because like they're going through like line by line and they're like, you're not enough for me. Come on. Okay. Just another man in love with me. What? Just another man?
I thought that's just all it said. Are there actually other lyrics? I mean, I thought it just kind of like stopped there and there's, you know, got.
But what comes after that?
I don't know.
We have all the world's information in our pocket. Let's see.
I literally have no idea.
Oh, this is going to be great. Let's see.
I really didn't think there were words after that.
There's tons of them.
That's funny.
You've got to open your eyes and see.
Okay.
You're not enough for me. Okay, we know that. Then there's a whole verse.
What?
And a chorus, and then chorus again, and then another verse.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, look at all these lyrics.
Who knew?
Look at those. Does it sound familiar?
No clue.
No, you never. No.
No.
Oh wow.
Oh no, I really like it though.
Are those speaking to you?
Hey, yeah, okay. I like it. I'm feeling it. I like that.
I mean,
okay.
Because I think you forgot this chick is mean.
Right.
I never lost my touch. I just gave it to you.
I mean, I'd have been stealing those lyrics for promos had I known I had those lyrics. Like, that's good.
You not heard the song before?
Not past the.
Oh, because the entrances were
The
so
entrance-
short.
the entr- yes, we barely got the enough for me part. Like it was just you're not
Like sprinting
Ding,
to the
ding,
ring.
ding.
Yeah. And then a few minutes later.
ding ding ding.
Yeah. Oh, that's just so unfortunate.
I know.
Who did you not get a chance to work with that you would have loved to work with?
During my time or after?
Both.
I think we pretty much worked everybody that was there during our time. Like I said, loved working with Victoria. I loved working with Melina, Mickie. We've already mentioned. And I prided myself on being able to work with anybody. Like I'd always have a good match with Kelly. I would have a good match with Maria. It was all about finding people's strengths, like, so I did pride myself on that. I would have loved to be able to mix it up with Bianca, Naomi, some of the girls that, I've now been in the ring with just for a hot second. Obviously Charlotte, which a lot of people have asked about. My son still asks, Mommy, why are you on TV? I'm like, oh, you're so sweet. What do you want? But he always thinks that Charlotte's me, or Gwen Stefani on The Voice. But anyway.
Yeah. Do you ever in public get mistaken for somebody else?
No, because I'm normally with Mark. So no. Normally people don't know I have a name. It's just Undertaker's wife. So I can appreciate anybody that says, oh yeah. I'm like, I have a name, people.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I could see. Does he ever get mistaken for somebody else?
Don't think so.
Unless it's like some like.
Who would you think?
I mean, it could be like a lapsed fan who's like, "You're the you're Kane, right?"
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Like, close.
Yeah,
That's my brother in real life.
Yeah. Do you know at our wedding, which we had like 30 people literally in the woods here in the neighborhood with a wooden cross, tiny. Somebody asked where Kane was. I'm like, guys, wait a minute. Like, if you got invited here, you should know that he has 4 brothers, but Kane's really not one of them. Like, not biologically.
And is Paul Bearer going to be here too?
I know. Like, oh, not.
That's so funny. That's so funny that people would think that.
To this day. Yep. Isn't that funny?
Would you want one more match because maybe you didn't really have a chance to end your career the way you wanted to?
I was happy with my last match for sure. It's one of my favorite matches. I think Layla and I had a great match. I think we told a great story. And then Awesome Kong coming out for her debut, which we only knew minutes before.
Minutes before.
And what's crazy is, again, just love the business. And it takes 2 to tango. I vividly remember coming back and Hunter and the boss and a couple of people saying, thank you so much for doing business. Thank you so much. I'm thinking, see, it shouldn't be an issue that you do business. Yeah. Like what? And we dealt with that a lot. LayCool dealt with that a lot. No, I don't want them to beat me, or I don't want, whatever. I'm like, I wouldn't think twice to have her come out there and kickstart, an honor for me. Come beat me up and then, add salt to my wound and send me on my way.
It also makes the match even more memorable.
Yeah, for sure. So, it's a crazy world we worked in. But I don't know. Look, I did my first Rumble, I think when my daughter was in kindergarten, because she's never seen mommy work. And we didn't have merch back then. And they actually presented me with a shirt. And I'm like, she can watch me wrestle. And if I wrestle, I get a shirt with my name on it now. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that's why I did it. And then that little turd came to the show. And she's coming around catering with my parents. I'm like, hey, baby. She goes, Mommy. And Joe from merch, he gave me a Naomi shirt. And I'm like, you serious right now? He puts the Naomi shirt over my shirt. I'm like, hold up. This is messed up. Like, I'm doing this for you, kid. Like, show a little bit of love. Jeez. But so I did that for her to see me wrestle. My son hasn't seen me wrestle. So,
Well, I hear there's a big match with 30 people in it. Happens about once a year.
There's a lot of girls on the roster now.
There are.
A ton.
That's true. Yeah. Then I guess, would it get to a point where you feel like you're taking someone's spot?
Right. Yeah. And I know a lot of people throughout the years always have problems with that, right? Like, oh, our match got cut and I've always understood, like, if my match gets cut from 6 minutes to 3 because Mark and Shawn Michaels are going on after me, I get it. I get it. I've always gotten that. Yeah. But it was always a thing when people came back and it's like, we're fighting so hard. Like, that should be us. Give us that, But at the same time, they pave the road and people want to see them. So it's just a catch-22 kind of.
Well, we know how wrestling retirements work. You know, a lot of people say they're going to retire and then come back and come back. Yours feels
like my husband. Not saying any names, but they did call him Santa Claus. He'd come back once a year for...
Do you think, you know him better than anybody, do you think he wants one final match in front of an audience?
Mm-mm.
He's happy with the boneyard match?
He was happy with the boneyard match, but I don't think he got closure until this past WrestleMania. But for whatever reason, he had complete closure. Yep.
For now.
So he says. No, but I really think so. Yeah.
You mentioned it earlier, but what's your morning routine look like?
I wake up at 4:45 every morning. I'm an early to bed person. Past 8:30, I'm delirious. Donezo. As soon as I put the kids in, I'm in bed. Sidebar. It just makes me laugh because, in fact, Mark came to bed the other night. It was like 10 o'clock. I was already out. I was like, oh, man, I got to pee and I don't want to get up and I don't normally have to. We have a little hall to go to our bathroom and I was coming back. I must have turned left like a foot and a half short and the wall. I turned around. Thankfully, I got my hands up. I guess it's natural instinct, but it's like this kaboosh. And I get in bed. He's like, did you just run into the wall? I'm like, yep, made that turn way too short. And he's dying laughing at me. But anyway, wake up at 4:45, quiet time. Hopefully the kids don't wake up anytime soon. Do my devotional, get some prayer time in, and then get the kiddos ready for school, get them off to school. And that's it. Come home, get a little workout in. And
sounds like faith is really like the center of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is for sure. And had I not had faith, I probably would have gone insane many, many times in my life, but definitely when I was working. Yeah.
I want to ask you the question that I ask at the end of every interview, because gratitude's the cornerstone of my life. Wake up every day, I say out loud 3 things I'm grateful for. My wife and I do it before we go to bed. Michelle, what are 3 things in your life you're grateful for right now?
Oh gosh, I could go on and on. In fact, we have the door that leads out to our garage and Post-it notes, gratitude wall. Might just post a little.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So it's covered in different color sticky notes.
Does each person have their own color?
No, that's just grab what you can find, stick it up there. But yeah, my calendar. Everybody has a color.
Paper calendar,
old school. Clearly, I like old school moves, things, people. I am grateful for my health, my family's health, for sure. I am grateful for outdoors and nature. And I am grateful not only for doing this today, but just, I'm grateful for the business and the opportunities it's brought us and our family and just the platform that it gives us to be able to reach out to others and help other people.
I just want to acknowledge you on the career that you've had.
Thank you.
Congratulations on everything and all the history that you made and the paths that you carved out. Congratulations.
Thank you. My husband tells me I'm horrible at taking compliments, but I appreciate it. It's hard to sometimes see that and give yourself enough credit. But, after all these years, when you look back, it's nice to see. So thank you.
And thank you for today. Thank you for inviting me into your beautiful home and
thank you
for this great conversation. And look forward to seeing you guys again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank
We're
you.
here.